You are watching the Fayetteville Government Channel. Up next, full coverage of the latest meeting of the Environmental Action Committee. The Environmental Action Committee is composed of citizen volunteers and meets on the second Thursday of each month. The committee advises the City Council regarding environmental issues facing the City of Fayetteville and its residents. And now, the Environmental Action Committee.
Welcome to the Environmental Action Committee. I'm the Vice Chair of this committee. My name is Angie Albright, and we meet monthly for this meeting. So if everybody would go around and introduce yourself and what area you represent. Terry, you want to go?
My name is Terry Lane, and my main focus is on the Community Wildlife Habitat Project.
My name is Meredith Lewis, and I am a citizen at large working on energy policy.
And I'm Dana Smith. I am the Sustainability Coordinator for Fayetteville Public Schools. And on this committee, I think I'm a citizen at large.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
I am too.
I think we all are.
Oh, I didn't.
You may be. Are you a professional spot? No.
I think you're the professional.
Okay.
Sorry.
My name is Lori Yazwinski, and I'm an architect, and my focus is on the recycling program.
I'm James Barton. I'm from Northeast Fayetteville, citizen at large.
And I'm Richard Russell, a member from a science discipline. I have a degree in geology, but mostly my interest is in just the city since I've lived here a long time.
Okay, thank you. The first thing we have on our agenda is the Community Wildlife Habitat Update, which has been the focus of Terry's life for a while now. Am I right?
A couple of years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, tell
And
us
a few
about
other
it.
people's lives too. This is very, very exciting. As according to National Wildlife Federation's last tally on the home certifications, and we have to have 200, as you recall, to certify the city. She showed that we have only 5 homes left, and I know for a fact that there are some en route to her, and there are some in the works. So fair enough to say we've got it. So, I know, yay! And that was our last area. We have to satisfy a whole points matrix to them, and that was kind of the last thing that we didn't have done, was to get those 200 homes. So where that leaves us is that we are now in the process, and that's something I was going to ask your help with tonight, planning our habitat celebration. And we do have a date. The date is going to be June 1st. That's a Friday. And we're going to have the Gully Park Pavilion for the event 3:30 to 5:30. We'll get there sooner than that to kind of set up. So before I get into detail on that, though, I'll mention that, so everything else we have to prove through that we've met our community outreach goals and our education goals and our marketing goals, and all of the points matrix through turning in our project book. So this is our project book. This has got everything we've been doing for the last 2 years, and it's, I'll pass it around, you can look at it. It is not done yet. I'm still working on a few things, but it's broken down by each area required by National Wildlife Federation. So, you know, like every time we made the news, we, you know, turn that in, show them that we had, you know, front page coverage and all that stuff, what it was about. So I will get this finished by the end of next week and mail this to our representative, and she will go through it and credit us for all the points, and then that's it. So we'll be done. And the lady's name is Roxanne, and she is in DC. Hi, Aubrey. Hi. The representative that we work with, she's out of the Washington, D.C. office for National Wildlife Federation, and she has already booked her flight, so she will be here to present big frame certificate to the city, and the mayor has got it locked into his schedule. So what I have accomplished so far, and then from there we can brainstorm and maybe divvy up a to-do list for the celebration, but definitely have reserved the place. We have the pavilion. Definitely got us on the mayor's calendar. Got Roxanne coming, as well as another National Wildlife Federation representative for our region. She's our regional gal, Geraldine. She will also be here, and that's pretty much it. So what I wanted to ask you all for that celebration is just to brainstorm some ideas for getting people there. I plan to release a press release through Lindsay, so there will be that will get done, and then I'll be on NPR again to promote, because we were on last summer to talk about it in an effort to raise awareness for people to get their homes certified. So now that we're there, I'm sure he would have us back on Ozarks at Large and say we've done it, come out to this celebration. So other than that, some ideas for that. And then also it's really wide open. I mean, we could make this, she told me that the communities that she's worked with across the nation have done all different sorts of, you know, have family activities. We could have a table for kids, like a really simple habitat oriented nature, you know, something they could just walk over and make and carry around with them. Maybe you have some ideas for that. I thought about the habitat hike. Maybe we offer that like as the first thing so people can come out, because the other neat thing about having it at Gully Park is it's one of our certified habitat areas, and it's a really good one because we've got the creek and they've done all the native planting and stream restoration, and it has that nice loop around. It's very walkable, handicap accessible, and all that stuff. So maybe we promote that 3:30 will be when schools, actually school will be out by then. School will be out.
Not on June 1st, probably not.
Really? I thought they had it already.
For Fayetteville?
Yeah.
No.
What?
It's already
Seriously?
out.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
We have
often
like
go
11
into, like,
weeks
the
of
second
summer.
week of June. You know, we often go way past June 1st.
Because we never have snow
Because we didn't
days.
have any snow days.
Yeah, I mean, we always have snow days.
So it'll be the end of May.
Yeah.
All
that's
right, be
right.
out early.
Okay. So hopefully families would come out. I mean, I know there's people will still be working. I'm hoping that on a Friday, you know, people can duck out a little early and come to it. But if we have, you know, if we promote it as a family-oriented habitat hike, I don't know. Y'all have any thoughts about other things we could, other groups we could coordinate with, or any vision? Also need to figure out how to get a podium and a PR, what do you call it, not PR, PA system. Do you know how we get
Does the park
that?
offer that?
I was gonna say, I mean, they have it all the time. I mean, when they have stuff there all the time.
The gal I talked to reserve the gazebo said she wasn't sure who you talked to do that. They didn't. So I guess I could call upstairs though, and they probably.
Were you thinking there would be a band or anything like that?
I
I
don't
was
know.
wondering, yeah, music.
Because
or-
if you do have a band, then you have the microphones and
Yeah, we could do
the
that.
sound system.
I know nothing about bands that we could get, or if that would cost. We don't really have a budget for it, so
I would suggest still on the hill,
yeah,
if they're not on tour or something. That would-
right, yeah, because it's just the two of them, right?
They got, well, yeah, they also have some equipment for the sound, and they have all their nature songs.
Oh, I didn't know
The ones
that.
they do for the kids when they're performing as, what is it, somebody the kids knows, because their kids come home and talk about it.
I have kids, but I don't know.
Anyway, it's,
Yeah.
they do special stuff at schools
Cool.
over the years. a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
And, I'll talk to them about it.
Can you be the to-do on that? Okay, so do you have the date to tell
I
them?
don't read yet. I got here
June
too late to
1st.
hear the date.
June 1st.
June 1st.
Friday, June
Friday.
1st, yep. At 3:30 would be 3:30 to 5:30. That they wouldn't need to be playing that whole time because part of the time. What I was thinking we'd do is whatever activities we decide on, they'll just kind of start it off, and then maybe around like 4:30. That's when we have the actual presentations. We'll get up and say something. There's some groups to recognize and some people to recognize, and then the mayor say something, and then the National Wildlife Federation folks will give the presentation to Mayor Jordan, and then that'll be it. So
Toucan jam is what they call themselves when they play with the kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
like toucan, like the bird. Yeah, toucan. Or two. Okay, cute.
Well, it's both.
Okay, gotcha.
Did the sign ever get put up that we talked about? Remember? Yeah, there was a sign proposed that.
But it wasn't a community habitat sign. Remember
What was it? I wasn't here last meeting. Was it something?
Oh, it's been some time
Was it
ago.
Parks and Rec, or no, which committee was gonna do that? But it was the big board, nobody remembers this except
No.
me, Richard. And we sent around those edits and we talked about it a whole bunch.
Oh, with John Pennington with Cooperative Extension.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so. I've never gone to see it, but
Was it supposed to be at Gully Park?
Yeah.
was it Glen? I can't remember. I think we gave them input on where. I didn't know they had decided
Oh.
where. I didn't know that was
supposed
the
to be
fun.
Gully
That's
Park.
where I had
Okay.
visualized from
Yeah, I've never seen it.
conversations.
Yeah, educational sign about native plants and native plants.
I think good to keep that in mind
Yeah.
as a
Mhm.
stopping point or a
Mm-hmm.
place to make sure we're.
Yeah,
pointing
Gully
people
Park
to.
also has, there's rain garden, there's, like I said, all the native plantings, or there's the bioswales, the way the parking lot's done.
I
But
think
maybe-
I've seen that sign,
You have,
but not at Gully Park.
okay.
Well, they may have one there too, but
Mhm.
I want to say it's at Lake Fayetteville.
Okay. Well, it occurs to me that I'm happy to help with the marketing,
Okay,
PR stuff,
okay.
and that we also want to get a list of must invites. You know,
Mhm.
so like city council,
Yes.
and then some other groups, like you said, like IRWP and
FNHA and,
yeah.
Illinois River, yeah, yep, I already said that. RWP. What about,
But a good list of people we know are invested in this too.
should we do an email invite or an actual postcard invite? I'm gonna wanna use paper and printing probably. What do you think works best? We could actually mail out invitations, you know what I mean? Or maybe,
Yeah, I mean, it would be kind of cool.
yeah, just to that hit list maybe, especially city council, because they probably get so many emails, don't you think
Yeah.
we'll send them something?
We can do both too, send a
Yeah.
postcard and an email.
Yeah.
And you get it to the city clerk and it automatically goes to them, to the newspaper and so forth.
Yeah.
Another idea I had for marketing, I'm on the Earth Day committee and possibly putting up a table at maybe their opening or closing ceremonies. I'm sure Michael Raleigh would give us one just to promote, like, hey, Fayetteville, look what we did, and come June 1st.
And this is what it
Great
is,
idea.
and this thing June 1st.
What's it called, Earth Day, what?
It's the Earth Day. I mean, it's a 40-day long event.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking they do have big opening and big closing ceremonies.
Yeah.
And so I think probably closing would be better because it's closer to June 1st.
Does that happen in one particular location, or do you know yet?
I don't know for sure, but I think it's
It's
gonna
always
be
been
on the
right up
square.
around here, right?
Mhm.
Kind of.
Okay.
But I'll do that since I'm on that committee. I'll talk
Thank you.
about it.
Okay. And then Angie, if you'll help me with postcards and the email
Yeah.
invites and all that stuff, getting people there. Deanna, can you and I handle the habitat hike? Figuring out, can you help with that, you think?
Yeah, or if you want to also do some kind of a table or booth for a kids activity,
Yes.
that'd be fun. They could
Yes.
make something like little wildflower seed balls or something that they could
Yes.
take with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help with that.
Okay.
I could play pin the native plant on the natural habitat.
And if you get it wrong, you get poison ivy or something.
All right, Deanna, you're on kids' table. If you'll just figure it out.
I'll help
You'll-
you
Yeah.
with that.
Okay, awesome. And then I'll, the habitat hike, I can, maybe even Sarah, she'd probably enjoy doing some of that because she could really talk about the stream stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Well, and really, we might want to have 2 or 3 different people going in different directions.
Yeah.
Or timing it, or spreading out the
Going.
one before, one after the speakers.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Are you thinking about having any sort of refreshments, lemonade or water, or, I mean, I know we don't have a budget.
Right.
So-
We could.
June
FNHA
1st,
might
it could
help us.
potentially be kind of a hot afternoon.
Yeah, we should have something.
I don't know.
Let's
What do
ask
you think?
Amy to provide water bottles and just carry some jugs of water, do whatever it takes to get water.
Oh yeah.
If we're
That
close
would be
to a
rewarded.
thousand. something,
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
I was thinking
Water
maybe
district
Little
likes
Bread Company would bring out their really cool buckets that they put the tea and water in, you know?
Well, we could ask, maybe if anybody has a connection, ask some place if they would donate. I mean, beverages wouldn't cost them that much, I don't think. Lemonade, just the time for somebody to come set it up. Anybody know anybody? No, okay.
Where'd you have your tea or coffee this morning? It might be the place.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
My house.
at my house.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can make some lemonade.
Maybe James will have a lemonade stand. We set up a lemonade stand.
Sounds dangerous.
All right, so I'll work on that.
Other
Figure out.
things that you would want to see at a celebration?
Community celebration. Also, this is something that we would hold annually, because that can also be something when we do our maintenance points each year, that you have an annual habitat day. This one in particular is to celebrate our certification, but if you just have a community habitat celebration day. So I don't know, I guess also be thinking in terms of it being something that
Well, we definitely
could
want to
do each
have
year.
the forms out for people who aren't signed up yet, and I mean to encourage that this is an ongoing thing, not a
Right.
stopping place.
a tabling area. Also, I thought about, I don't know if I think people would do this, we could have a native plant sale set up. Like, I know Cindy has, when she brought Doug Tallamy to speak, she had, I can't remember who the nursery was, it might have been White River. They came and set up a really nice display, and they sold seeds, and they had the actual plants out there to sell.
Yeah. That'd be
Maybe.
kind of cool.
Just don't let them bring you non-natives. No tomatoes.
I remember they didn't let, when I saw them before, they were
Oh, yeah.
true.
There's several places.
I'll ask Cindy about that, how
That'd be
she
a great idea.
got that. Yeah, it was really nice, and people were walking out of the global campus carrying their
Yeah.
plants.
I wonder how, this could just get nixed right away, but how difficult is it for you to bring up all of the people that are registered individual homeowners?
You mean to their names and addresses?
Not
What do you-
addresses, just names.
I have a list. Yeah, I have a list of names.
I was thinking, a pretty simple, like, heavy cardboard, just put it up there for people who are
Oh,
personally.
to see. Oh, I see. Recognize.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know, though.
Yeah.
That's a thought.
Yeah, we could do that. The other thing about that, having that list, is that's 200 people that have signed up, so they should get, I don't have their email addresses because National Wildlife Federation just sends me their physical address, but we could,
But that's a good mailing
postcard.
opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, definitely. Alright.
Terry, I wonder too, you mentioned about making this an annual event.
Mm-hmm.
I love this idea of making it a standalone thing the first year, but just thinking in the future, if it's at Gully Park and we're doing music, if next year it could go along with one of those music in the
the
park,
concerts in
whatever,
the park.
yeah,
Yeah.
Gully Park concert series. So it would,
Good idea.
you'd already have music there,
Yeah.
but you could again,
You'd also have a lot of people there.
yeah,
But that's a good idea. I'm gonna make a footnote.
recognize,
Yeah.
maybe ease some of the organization of the event planning.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I guess I realized I was gonna do that. Yeah. Okay, this is a lot of good stuff to go on. Annual tie-in to concert. Alright, so if you said you would do something, I will be emailing you this week. Or next week. This is good. And we've got a couple months, so that's good. I think the first thing probably start working with you on getting some, get the postcard figured out and all that. And also I need to talk to Fayetteville Natural Heritage Association about, because they're kind of their partner in the project, have been the whole way, if there's any ideas they have or anything they'd like to help with.
Okay.
So I'll bring it up again at the next meeting. Oh, one more thing about habitat. This Saturday at Butterfield Trail Elementary School on Old Missouri, that's where we have our demonstration habitat garden. And it's a schoolyard habitat. You've heard me talk about it if you've been on EAC for a little while. This Saturday, if you have time to come out and volunteer even for an hour or two, we're starting at 8:30 and going until whenever. We've got one of the dads from Butterfield has designed some simple bench seating so that we can actually have teachers can bring their students out and they have somewhere for them to sit to have class in the garden.
Cool.
So that was kind of our big goal. We've got it all planted. The caterpillars are there, the native plants are there, but it's hard for teachers to bring their classes out there when they're just kind of having to stand around. So this is good. So we're going to be, he's got it all pre-cut and everything. We're going to need help with that, and then also spreading new mulch, doing some planting, and adding some soil to our raised beds that are coming on down. Just some different spruce up things like that for spring. So if you can come, that'd be fantastic. Bring your garden gloves and any garden tools you have, and a water bottle. And that's the garden right there. That's it.
That's
this
Saturday?
So this Saturday, yep, day after tomorrow.
Are there some caterpillars?
8:30. No, not right now. There have been though. There will be again.
There's flowers. There are bees out.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I even saw a bumblebee out.
The garden still very much has its winter look right now. It hasn't sprung, but everything we planted pretty much was perennials except for some of the milkweed, I think, that we're gonna have to plant again. But it, you know, last year it was full bloom and buzzing with bees and butterflies, and there were caterpillars crawling up and making their chrysalis on the windows of the school. So the classes would look out the window and there's monarch.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
And it went from a hard dirt patch to that in just a few months. So I'm excited to see what comes up. It doesn't look great right now, but everything is just starting to come up, and it'll be back in bloom soon. Oh, also, sorry, I keep thinking I'm done and I'm not. For the newer folks, especially if you've never seen one of the habitat brochures, they're here. If you haven't registered your home yet and you would like to do that, I have the prepaid forms. You don't even have to pay the $20. And the only trick is you have to fill it out and give it back to me. I'm going to mail it in. These have been getting lost. This is the one if you pay your own $20. This has got information about habitats, and then the last page you tear out, it's the same thing though. It's the application. You just write a $20 check and mail it in. So when we adjourn, if you want to come and do any of those, that'd be great, because we still need to make sure we get those last ones. Okay, I'm officially done.
Okay. All right.
Thanks,
Any
everybody.
questions for Terry?
If you need any help on the postcards, I'd volunteer on that time, because I also know certain softwares and.
Okay. You're on.
Yes.
That's, yeah.
Just need somebody to draw
Okay.
something.
Yes. We do.
Would you email us the list of people who have registered?
Yeah, I think I can forward you I'll just forward you the email that I get.
I think we'd all be interested in
Yeah.
congratulating people
Yeah.
if we know
I
them.
know a lot of people on there. Sure. Yeah, I'll do that. Make a note right now.
Okay. Other announcements, things coming up, concerns, issues?
So I just passed around a poster for some of the things that Tommy and Sierra and who else are sponsors listed on here.
Good things happen.
Birth Roots and Teratots, which is Birth Roots is midwifery, and Teratots is children's birthing. Omni Youth, Beaver Water District, and Omni 350, which is the old Carbon Caps Task Force, are sponsors for these events. And please save that. They should all be listed on the Eco Passport, but that won't be out for another couple of weeks.
Fantastic.
Other announcements?
I never had too many of these.
Okay.
I have one. I don't have it with me.
Now, so now for next month, we're kind of cruising. Sometimes we go past our hour time, but not tonight. So other things that we want to talk about for next month and the month after, for April or May, things that are on your mind.
I think we were supposed to be talking about energy, the energy policies
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So
And we were waiting, there was something happening. Was there something being drafted or some other kind of, I mean, the time should be next month, right? Because weren't we waiting on the city to do
Okay,
something?
I had brought up the stormwater management for future ordinance, whatever revisions, and best I could tell, I was over at where Melissa Terry works, and she said they are working on the plan there. What am I talking about? Nakalaka.
Yeah, in Cat.
In Cat.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, several people that work there, but I never remember. First of all, I've never been in the building in all these years. It's a wonderful historic building. You ought to go see it. So they're not ready with a draft with their part of it. They're working hard with the city on it. Very, Melissa's confident it'll be a good document. So I was happy to hear that. I'd still like to see drafts of all things going on. As a journalist, I see anything going on. It's publicly funded. There are no secret documents. You know, it should all be shared with the public. But if you're doing anything, you want to try to get it right before you send it out. So
And if it goes like the streamside protection ordinance, we will see.
I don't
see it before
know
it
that they're
goes,
planning that much because they're not considering it. Maybe that it would be that radical a change. It would be.
But we've seen most of those ordinances before
Yeah,
they happen.
yeah.
So
And there will be a.
for some of you, that'll be new. That'll be a new exercise, but it's pretty interesting to read through that language and understand it. And then you have the opportunity to go advocate for it or against it if that's what's necessary.
It'd be a chance for us to recommend something else.
Yes, exactly.
That kind of thing.
Okay. And remind me, anything in particular about energy policy?
Well, the state, about where the state is and then what the city of Fayetteville is thinking about passing. And I do believe we're kind of in a standstill because the sustainability director for the city is very much involved in that process and decisions. So they, as we know now, they're still doing interviews for that. So.
Weren't we going to have Brian Pugh come back on to
Quarterly, I think, and I
For the
was just thinking
recycling?
it's about time.
Do you know?
It's about time for him to be back, isn't it?
Maybe we could ask him that.
Yeah.
I know Matthew Petty, or Councilman Petty, Sarah had mentioned about him coming to talk about the energy policy because apparently he's very much involved in that and interested in that.
Okay. And does that have any connection to the partnership the city has with the ASC and some of those things too?
I do not know that.
I mean, it seems like that would be potentially a partner topic, how that's going. Do you all know what we're talking about?
No, Isaiah.
The Applied Sustainability Center and their partnership with the city for the
Energy.
The ecological communities?
yes, yeah.
Yeah, that actually, they, I think, are in the process of trying to rework that website, and so it kind of dropped off a little bit, getting the community involvement in that. But it might be a great time for an update.
Right. Okay. And that's Michelle also doing that so well.
I bet Sarah has the list too, because we had a really, it seems like our first meeting of the year or something, we had a really good list.
We did.
It's
But
in another notebook.
if there's
I
anything
don't have
that's
it with me, but
more time sensitive than
Yeah.
others, we want to make sure we're hitting that.
We should have a guest next time. Next time we'll see March or April. April.
Other
The
local.
things going on tonight, you probably all know about. Next door at the Chamber of Commerce, Louise Mann has got the group of volunteers, or at least a couple of them from Bella Vista, who are really the pushers to get the volunteer separation, sorting, and so forth of their material together. And she's very concerned about threats that I haven't heard openly from anybody else, but I know there were some talk about suggestions from somebody in power, or maybe one of the council members or something, saying we ought to save money by dumping it all together and cut down the labor and so forth. The guys sort it, you know how fast they do it. It's easy for them. You can't do it yourself as fast as they can.
Oh, well, yeah, what happened with, I mean,
Well, that's concern is somewhere out there, and I don't know.
Well, we talked about it 2 or 3 meetings ago.
Yeah.
They've got a term, single stream.
Single stream.
Right,
yes.
but, has anything come back around? I
Well,
mean, there was,
not
we did talk
publicly
about it
that I
here.
know. Yeah, but Louise is
Recycling?
having this meeting right now,
Oh.
and those people are real experts and real serious volunteers, like we need more of, Phil. And there are 2 more follow-ups for that she's got planned.
Trash class.
Yeah.
And
trash
that's
class.
what, yeah, the trash class. Okay.
Also, the transportation issue is being discussed at Quorum Court right now. And,
I think Don Pugh
going
did
there
it.
and there.
When Don Pugh was here the last time, I think that was a pretty good
It was brought
presentation
up.
as to why
Maybe.
we want to stay away from single stream.
Yeah, I think that's why he was here too. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with Angie. I haven't heard it come up since then.
No, I think the big
As far
thing with
as
city
the
recycling that they're focusing on right now is the apartment recycling. And
Yeah.
they're really trying to push that out.
But it was, the single stream thing was a discussion, and so maybe that just got stalled or pushed to the side.
Well,
It's gonna be expensive.
I don't think it would pass right now in the council, but you know, if there's an election this year, you could have 2 or 3 people that don't think recycling's worth the money. And it just takes a few votes so 5 votes,
Yeah.
and there might be 2 people in there could be persuaded you got 3 new ones or something.
Right.
Who knows?
Well, that's the
I feel
fact
You
like
that
never know.
if that ever does come up on the agenda, I mean, I feel like we're all pretty much
We should know if
united
it's
in the
coming.
way against single stream.
I just
Is
bought
that right?
a new laptop. One of the reasons is I can actually see the parts of the agenda, the backup material on the city website, and read the agendas for the meeting. You know, you click on them and they open up, and my old Mac would not open.
Oh, yeah.
Well, traditionally, Sarah too has, when we know something's coming, she'll tell us and we work to create a response and agreed, okay, I'm gonna go on this night on the first reading and this is kind of the message. Or we have voted at different times to support certain actions. And so that gets sent along as the EAC supports this or does not support this. So we try to be united in that way.
Well, I was just wondering, we opened a new facility right out on the west side.
Is it open yet?
It's still building.
Yeah.
But does that represent a commitment to the path of sorting? That's not in the direction of single stream, is it?
No, but it could be used either way. I mean, the facility, it would be downgrading to go back to single stream from what we do now, which is pretty sophisticated, consider.
Well, it just seemed like that represents a commitment to me
No,
to.
you're right.
It does, but.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about that too, that we've
And it
already
would be-
invested that.
It would be an intelligent way to discuss it
Yeah.
when things come up.
We've already
We've already-
invested the time, money, planning.
We're really proud of it.
Yeah.
But that facility is not the main thing we're doing. And that's an additional thing. That's where people from, even out in the county, come in to use those facilities that we got already. And you can say, you can do it yourself on the day you want to do it when you feel like it. but that doesn't change what happens on the whole pickup
Right.
with the truck.
Sounds like we should have Brian Pugh come next month. He can answer all these questions.
Well,
Yep.
it seems like the gist of what he was explaining to us and the things that he's been working so hard to accomplish are all about finding marketability for pieces of the stream. And, you know, he's had some breakthroughs. You know, and we're cheering him on. So
Right.
it's, seems like we're working hard to develop that sort of approach. And we all seem to be in conflict in that way. We're all in agreement. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So the Singlestream banner, if it shows up, it's kind of like they need to work their way into the conversation at least. That's already going on.
I think if we were going to talk about recycling again, something that we could ask them to tell more about. I know in the fall, I think it was the fall or last summer, the city had done an interest meeting about composting, large-scale composting. I forgot that the other day. I
Wow.
told you. And I never heard the results of what that was. Christina Jones was involved with it, and John Coleman was there involved in it as well. But they were just, I think, getting community input on composting. And
Yeah,
That sounds vaguely familiar.
in that PDF that they sent out, it did say that at least, I think 50 or 60% of the community is interested in doing table scrap pickup.
food scrap composting.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious to see where they are in that conversation, if that's something that we could encourage more exploration.
And
What do the schools do with all their food scraps?
Because of the trash.
Trash. God, that'd be a huge, if they would just go to restaurants and schools.
And that's something the school district has, we've talked about. We don't really, we're not in a position right now to do anything major, but would be very interested in knowing more about what the city has in plans or.
Well, you know, that kind of resonates along with the presentation we got last month from the Feed Fayetteville folks. They're looking at food from the other side, but it's a short step from when you're through
Yeah, that's right.
to when it becomes, you know,
Right.
so they might be good allies in that discussion. They had a term that was really interesting to me that they called food rescue.
Yes.
Foods that are, I don't know, somebody decides that they don't need to be in their inventory anymore, but they're still okay to use. Is that fair to say what that is?
It's that, a few other things too. I mean, I, as the director of a crisis agency, I was on the other side of that, so we were being rescued by the food, and so it also meant the things you got after events. You know, they'd been prepared in health certified kitchens, things like that, and then getting rid of the inventory, or like some of the, I think Panera and a couple other places, their day old bread that they send out.
Yeah, Panera gives bread to the senior center
Yeah.
Wednesday evening.
And they used to give it lots of other places too, and they give it to some churches who then distribute it to some families too, so.
Well, I'm really aware of that because I happen to use a dumpster that is also used by a restaurant. And it's an enormous amount of material. And if we're looking for ways to explore more separating out parts of the stream, then that one's right in front of us.
Absolutely. I think before we can start even talking about actually compost collection, we have to have some sort of large-scale compost company or something that would be dedicated to taking that massive amount.
Right, but it's a pretty,
Because it
I
could
feel
be
like
huge.
Even one restaurant produces just a ton.
it's a pretty good instinct though to think in hard economic times, if there's something out there that's some volume of material, you know, someone's gonna have some interest in it.
Absolutely.
It's a great thing to try to accomplish, there's no doubt about it. We waste a lot of food, we throw away a lot of food, and then you've got this stuff going in the landfill. We don't want that to happen, but you know, when you start looking at composting, that becomes, especially on a large scale, that becomes one of those things that it's kind of a not in my backyard kind of thing. People don't want a big compost facility anywhere near where they're at. They get concerned about groundwater, and I'm not saying all these concerns are legitimate, but those are things that come up, and concerned about flies and odors, and so it's composting is one of those things. It becomes controversial, so you have to be very careful about how you move into that.
Where's the city's compost facility for yard waste? Is that
By the recycling center?
it is? Okay.
But you can remember whenever we had the big storm event, whenever there was all this tree debris. You remember how we moved it around and where we went with it? We had a few places.
They still burn it a lot of places.
Well, I didn't remember any being burned, but I remember that west of the west plant, there was quite a bit of it integrated into the ground out there. It's how many years down the road? 3 now? 3 years? And then there was a place out by the city shops where they took quite a bit of it too.
On the old racetrack.
Paradise Valley Golf
I
Course
feel though-
had huge, we live close to the golf course, they let them, I don't know how they, I guess they gave them the burn permit, but they just had huge piles burning
About the
and
burning part.
smoke coming through the neighborhood.
See,
But
I think
that
you-
ties
you-
into the energy
They
thing.
had a lot.
I was going crazy. Why are they taking the hangers away? My best picture, I said this some other meeting not long ago, my best picture of the summer was a Cecropia moth, I believe, caterpillar, which I would never have seen up in the tall tree before the limb was broken. But the limb's still alive.
Yeah.
2 years later, after or 2.5, or whatever it's been, and there's this big beautiful moth, like spend an hour photographed from every angle, and the madness of just we gotta get rid of all
Worried
this
and
wood,
following
and then
people.
if you use it for firewood or you leave it somewhere for it to be used by beneficial insects for nesting and feeding and woodpeckers and all the other birds and so forth that eat off of the insects that are on a dead tree.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, everybody, our yard waste is enough to, I mean, from food, we don't waste enough to feed the dog. We just don't waste much food.
You're
But-
not
Well,
the average.
I'm thinking-
You're not an average.
I mean, orange peels, eggs,
Yeah.
I mean, banana peels, all
Banana
that
peels,
stuff.
rabbits love
Just
them.
throw
Dogs
them.
eat them.
Just throw them.
Don't ever put them back in the trash. I mean, that
My
is.
dogs will not eat those.
Yeah.
Are you
But
sure?
I hear it's much easier to redistribute, trees and brush type compost as opposed to food scraps.
Yeah.
That does get significantly more smelly and
Yeah.
messy.
Well,
Can.
people that know what they're doing do
Right.
it just fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah.
absolutely works. There's no question about it. But they'll raise the concerns. And
Would
so
they
you have to
allow,
go
like,
into
we
it
had a-
with an open mind.
And I really think it's probably a private industry type business personally. I think.
So it's not
As
like
to-
these recycling materials that a company buys out are recyclables?
Yeah.
Well, I guess there are 3 different types of contracts a city can have with a private entity, and one is, like what you say, they sell them the food scraps or give them food scraps, and then another is they build the facility and they contract out the work, and then, I don't know, there's different partnerships that the city can have with private companies.
I wonder if they would ask homeowners that, because I know I have a compost pile, but you can't put dairy or meat or any meat scraps or cooked vegetables in it, or that's when it gets all nasty.
It
But
makes
so-
it harder to manage. If you
A lot
do that.
harder to manage, but would a citywide food scrap collection that would just be any food, you think? Just anything?
So that could also
the
get allocated.
facility, I
Cheese,
worked
meat.
at a zero landfill facility up in Kansas City. They have a private business called Missouri Organic that came to our place and picked up our compost 3 days a week. And we managed a very, very large event space. And they took pretty much everything.
Well, we don't.
There were very, very few. But that's a
Yeah.
large scale private business.
Yeah.
They come pick it up and make good mulch out of it and sell it. And that's how they
Yeah.
do their business.
And
So-
we do work with some companies in Oklahoma and Missouri, I think, with our recycling. Well,
Mhm.
especially with
I
the
know we do.
new plastic
Yeah.
recycling.
And the new one in Kansas City,
Yeah, so the task boils down to identifying a segment of the stream and then creating something that's ongoing, that's break even, pays expenses, what have you, for some part of the stream. And this, fresh idea can be explored. We can ask you, what the pros and cons of that are. And if you want to stay or jump ahead of Singlestream, that's probably the best aggressive approach to do that. As we think of things, see if they make sense. Find the people that are doing it. Have them come in and talk to us.
Yeah, I definitely would just be curious to see where the city is right now with that conversation, and especially since, it's illegal to put yard waste in the landfill, but yet we put food scraps all the time. So, right, just anything coming that way. Especially if we have Brian come back, he could probably talk about it. Or, like I said, I know Christina Jones in the planning department was working on that, and of course John was. But
Okay.
maybe that's a topic for when someone is hired.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm
Single
hearing a
waste.
lot about energy and composting, kind of related to recycling too. So, and I think Brian's due to come back. I think we're at our quarterly update. So I will pass those things along, and maybe we have April and May planned. Actually, I think we've got a full energy possibility and a full recycling composting possibility.
And I know Sarah and you alluded to it a little bit, but the stormwater utility, stormwater runoff type
Whatever
thing.
we call it.
Yeah. Which I would like to at least get that conversation started.
Find out where that is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, does anybody have anything else? I think this is our shortest meeting on record. Okay.
I know.
So, then I think I can say we're adjourned. I don't think we usually vote on that. We're adjourned.
It's a dictatorship.
We're adjourned.
Congratulations.